the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
High-level meeting be akoso with the acting Chief Justice. Amidst time ye call for the removal. Na ye pese clarify baby removal no for him to be removed as a Supreme Court judge, not as a Chief Justice, because yen swear in as a Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, or ye only the active Chief Justice. Yen can the voice of the petitioner or call for the removal of the Chief Justice, acting Chief Justice as a Supreme Court judge from the bench on a asase radio for a dean komo. But ye be call this high level meeting ye be come asem kakra and say ye kwakuti petitioner or petition the president for the removal of the acting Chief Justice, Justice Bafo Bonny, where the long awaited engagement between Constitutional Review Committee and the Judiciary came off just yesterday, where as at September 26, 2025, H. Kwesi Prempeh, chairperson of the Constitutional Review Committee. Now, Omejumedia Yedeshomunsa has come as a critical time. The removal of Chief Justice, either topical discussion in the Republic of Ghana, perceptions of judges, perceptions of political interference in the judiciary are at the all-time high. Inti Mr. Kwesi Prempeh oye chair of the Constitutional Review Committee. Omejumedia yedesi omunasuna ejuma kesiye pa. How ombe reshape the constitution moving forward? Intimi enya more in political interference within the judiciary. Now, some meeting we call so a conference room of the Judicial Service Administration, chaired by acting Chief Justice, Justice nominee His Lordship, Justice Kwadwo Bafo Bonny. Now, 4-hour-long engagement covered a wide range of issues relating to 1. Administration of justice in Ghana. 2. Jurisdictions of the Supreme Court. 3. Matters regarding other superior courts. 4. Roles and administrative powers and functions of the Chief Justice. 5. Procedures for appointment and removal of the Supreme Court judges. Inti idea almost share these matters within the next Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, chaired by acting Chief Justice, Justice Bafo Bonny, and a Constitutional Review Committee Chairman, Mr. Kwesi Prempeh. Now, in conform attended this meeting where you had acting Chief Justice or no Supreme Court judges, Ekobi, Court of Appeal judges were invited, High Court judges were invited, judges and magistrates of circuit and district courts Omuna were invited to this high level meeting. Now, since the committee concluded its zonal public engagement, it has targeted stakeholder engagement with the Council of State, Trade Union Congress, and State Interest and Governance Authority. In the meeting, high level meeting, a whole breakdown here there, man. You're very sure say issues regarding the removal, appointment of Chief Justice topical within this meeting. Now, you could see petitioner was serving President Mahama ne petition for the removal of the Chief Justice. Nsem or that we are near Dr. Zato Joy for omudi hun komo regarding sa petition in Komodia course na studios ho aye butu pa yenkoni ngoti.
On the 1st October 2025, I did file the petition to the President for the removal of the Justice Bafo Bonny, the acting Chief Justice, from his office on the grounds of stated misbehavior, pursuant to Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution. And for the benefit of your audience, the 1992 Constitution, Article 416 Clause 1 states that a Justice of the Supreme Court or a chairman of the regional tribunal shall not be removed from office except for stated misbehavior incompetence on the grounds of inability to perform the functions of the office arising from infirmity of body or mind. On this note, we grant our case on the Article 146 on item misbehavior. If we all remember, on the 24th September 2025, Israel Tete, Mr. Dafia Mepo works in Nelson, and a group that calls itself the Ghana Law Society filed a lawsuit in the Supreme Court seeking constitutional relief against Ghana Bar Association. And on the 25th September 2025, I think a day after the nomination of the acting Chief Justice, this group went to visit him in his office. And in their conversation, the Chief Justice made a remark on camera, captured by the media, which seems to suggest that the Chief Justice is already siding with one of the plaintiffs, which is plaintiff number 3, the Ghana Law Society, and his position is clear that he supports their case in court. And as we all know, if issues are sent to court, it will be continuous for the determinant of the case, or the one who has the capacity to empanel the bench for the termination of the case, to make statements that seem to presume judgment and undermining the independence of the judiciary and also undermining the integrity of a law court. This is a clear case of conflict of interest, and that I feel it is appropriate to petition the president for him to investigate and if there need be, set the Chief Justice aside for us to protect our constitution and build our democracy.
Okay, it's what has given birth to some of these petitions. The petitioner, in this case, his name is Yusuf Bande. I don't know whether he's a brother to whoever. But Bande, his name is Bande. I've seen Yusuf Bande somewhere.
Maybe Yusuf.
Eh?
Nobin Yusuf.
Bande Yusuf, right? Bande Nabin Yusuf. Yeah. Okay, very well. But importantly, there's Bande and there's a Yusuf. Okay? The petitioner is citing misconduct and has alluded to the code of conduct of the judiciary. Rule 1, Rule 3, Rule 4, and so on, and Rule 6 and so. And his argument is all about where a case or a matter is before a court of competent jurisdiction, in this case, the apex court of the land. The case appears sub judice, and therefore no one should what? Comment or say anything about it, not even a judge. Reference is made to lawyers visiting the acting Chief Justice. Whether known to him or not known to him, a matter is laid before the competent of court for decision to be taken. He had comments on it, which comments to a large extent appeared prejudicial to many. Therefore, it warrants what Bande believes in his analogy and interpretation to what we call misconduct. And if that is misconduct, and citing the Bangalore principle adopted by the UN, then of course it stands to reason that a prima facie case be established on this matter, and then triggering the processes in 146 to move on, to remove a judge. You see, that is why I'm saying that he who brings sugarcane home, who invites flies home.
Is this? What do you have you read the petition?
I have read it. I've read it. Okay. It's about. I'm not like you. I read document before I sit here. I don't do that. No, I'm not like you. I read everything to the end.
Sugarcane home invites flies. So that is your time, and you never do it.
So he who brings he who brings equity or calls for equity must also do equity. This matter has actually come. We want to see the logical conclusion of it. Okay. We want to see how the president is going to forward that to the Council of State. We want to see how Article 146 per the principle used yesterday, that same principle is used today.
Before that,
so that at the end of the day, Ghanaians will see fairness in the end.
Before today, when Article 146 was triggered in the petition to remove the former Chief Justice, were you part of the people that believed that Article 146 was quite problematic?
I have.
You do. Why then do you want it to be triggered on this one? If you think it has a problem, then why does it not have a problem?
That is why I'm saying that you set a precedent. We are dealing with judicial precedents in this country, and that is part of our laws, our institutions. Read Article 11 of the Constitution of Ghana.
Basically, what
tells you decisions that was made becomes is binding. So I am saying that what you have done yesterday becomes law, and if it becomes law, it will come to bite you if you are not careful. So I am saying that what has happened today is just somebody following precedents.
Beyond the commentary, what do you make of the petition yourself?
You see, obviously, if there is a citation, you don't just make petitions in a vacuum. You make petitions, and that is why I always like legal arguments. Legal arguments are grounded in references that you make to back your argument. Legal argument. So the point is that the petitioner cited the Code of Conduct of the Judiciary and cited Rule 1 and so on to Rule 6. It means that he has a backing to his case. He may have his interpretation, but that is the backing. And then based on that, he has actually petitioned the president, say that, look, XYZ happened, and this happened for me amounts to sub judice, and that sub judice, if it's done by a judge, amounts to a misconduct according to the Bangalore principle. Therefore, I am out there. So for me, I think what happened yesterday is what somebody has stood on and actually have had meat to support whatever he has as a claim in form of a petition.
Okay, Nanel.
Thank you, Emefa. I think that it's an interesting petition when I read it. Now, just before I come to the petition, so the issue has to do with the fact that some group of lawyers think that the Ghana Bar Association has overlived its worthiness. Operating
quite a monopoly.
And operating a monopoly, of which I have been for that school of thought for a very long time. And I think many Ghanaians and many lawyers have also called for some lawyers to also put themselves together and set up themselves against that. And I remember giving an example of those days back when almost every now and then you find teachers going on strike here and there, until we started having sister associations like the Concerned Teacher Associations, we have Graduate Teachers Associations, and that reduced the monopoly of NAT and reduced their over-politicization of issues. And that is what we find in the Ghana Bar Association. And to which a group of individuals, these lawyers, decided to put themselves together and said that, listen, if you look into our constitution, I decide which association to join as an individual. Let us not forget that the Ghana Bar Association is not a licensing authority. But they have been given that mandate in terms of even renewals.
So I don't want to talk.
You get it. So from where I think that if they had gone to meet the acting Chief Justice and has stated their stand and he had passed a commentary on it, and the petitioner thinks that it's a breach of regulations, and for that matter he should be impeached or should be removed. Of course, he has written his petition.
Why did they? But the matter is in court. What was their business going to see him?
No, you see, the aspect of the case being in court was different from the aspect of the case or their courtesy call they had put on.
That's optics matter at all.
So
optics matter.
If that's
why there should have been discretion. So commenting on it.
So what I'm saying is that
you understand,
if he decided to comment on it because it was a courtesy call. Now these are lawyers who have decided to take a particular stand, and they are visiting him, and he's decided to pass a comment. There's a case in court, of course. They have the right the petitioner has the right to go ahead with it. And triggering Article 146, I have said that if Article 146 can be triggered 10 times in a year, for there to be sanity, all right, in our judicial system, I do not mind. Why? Because the judicial service system is the only safe havens that we have as a country.
Yes.
So I do not have a problem. But you see, we cannot sit here and determine whether or not the president would interpret this as having the substance to go through a process. The president is listening. He has read it.
If malpractices were substance,
if the president decides that he should go through the process of Article 146, of course, that is up to him. You understand me? And I think that the language of the petitioner is very clear, whatever he has written. But I would be surprised if it is able to meet the conditions. I would be surprised if it is able to meet the conditions that would have to go through to be able to.
You would be surprised.
To the end of it. I would be surprised. I mean, this would be definitely aborted before time. I mean, let's be
Thank you very much. Yesterday, in fact, something just happened today that for me is humbling and that everybody must look at it. The fact that my brother, you're talking about the removal of Chief Justice, and my brother here says, somebody else, take my slot, I won't talk.
I didn't say that.
My brother came here to talk. But for the first time on this, we are talking about something, and he says,
no,
I will defer it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. Some days ago, you were here as a panelist when we talked about the teacher-student abuse.
Yes.
And we asked that you make a comment.
Yes.
Do you recall that you made a comment or not?
I did.
Because you didn't. You deferred. You didn't make a comment.
I deferred. But I said that. Who told you?
But did you?
I made a point.
You made a point.
I made a point.
This
matter has nothing to do with it. I made a point.
He's made a clear. Hang on.
No. Before you.
I said children were the most vulnerable.
I'm glad that you reminded me.
It's my turn.
I only defend speaking first.
I told you that. There's a tape.
Why do you defend speaking?
Very good.
I will come to that. I'll come to you.
So I commented.
Thank you.
There's a tape there.
Thank you. Don't worry.
Now this is the point I want to make. My brother gave a proverb. I'll just add a smaller one. When you call for the rain, be prepared to deal with the mud. When there was a petition for the removal of Tokonu, I went on record and I said she was a goner. I went on record and I said that this woman will go. Nothing. There's no force big enough on this earth or in this country to stop her from going. I said that. And I also said, the removal of a Chief Justice is spelled out in the various constitutional provisions. Those are bricks and mortar. But the lubricant that moves the process is partisan politics. So everybody, you can hide under the legal jargons. You can quote and quote and quote. In fact, the way they always use that the president is just a conveyor belt. Has no discretion. That president doesn't have the control. That the law seems to completely absolve any president. You collect a petition, you just move it on. The president is not. And I said this, yes. I don't know the law, but I know the politics. And I know that narrative, that idea that the president is false, it's wrong. Because the lubricant for moving one thing to the other is political. I'm going to give you two examples. Joy FM made a headline story here. There is currently a petition before the government for the removal of the EC chairs. Joy FM made that story here. Why hasn't it been moved to the Chief Justice? If the president or if the executive is just a conveyor belt, why hasn't it been 8 months into power? It has not yet gone there. What is keeping it away? That's the first thing I'm making. What is keeping away?
Political lubricants are allowed.
Why isn't that? There's a petition. You made the case. Why is the case not being done now? The case came around the same time as Tokonu. Tokonu's own has ended. It's finished. This case has not even moved anywhere. The power and the will to move that case to the next section is not judicial. It's not legal. It's not in the Constitution. So when the lawyers are throwing it out, those who study policy, no, take your time. The power, the force, there's something in public policy called policy cycle. And we will tell you that what moves a policy from agenda setting to policy formulation to this thing is mostly political, it's force. And it's the same thing here. Why is a petition to remove the EC chairs still hanging somewhere? So the president or any president for that matter is not just a conveyor belt. It's not. There's discretion. 2, come to this Chief Justice. The day that these lawyers made this, Joy FM made it a top story. I heard it. I was driving home and I heard it. And this, I don't know whether you were the one who did the top story.
Nice to know that you listen to.
I do. No. I don't know who did it. Whether it was you or the voice looks melodious like yours. And you made
that
a
must
point.
be my colleague Forty. That must be Forty. Yeah.
Second point.
Probably a second beautiful man.
Second point.
Let's go back. You ask this question. This is a question that we're asking you to ask. Why are you meeting people when this case has been? In fact, that case, that story ended up by saying that this might come out in the petition because it's You say sub judice, whatever it is. You made that on the case. It has come now. So look, long before we have seen this formal thing, you had this. I know one of the lawyers that came there was Frank Davis, and even Amalba too was there.
Amalba, yeah.
And you saw those lawyers, the way they were arguing the similar thing. Amalba was laying down everything, and Frank Davis was listening these same legal jargon, sub judice, whatever it is.
Do you also think this justice is a goner, like you believed when Tokono was also?
No, I don't know.
Why not?
Because Tokono was appointed by Akufo-Addo under the NPP.
Absolutely.
And he was a new president. Today, this man has been appointed by the current president. So I don't know.
He's acting. He has
appointed him to go
but you see, they challenge. They want him removed as a justice of the Supreme Court. It's got nothing to do with the acting.
My point is that right now,
and he's been a justice long.
Thank you. Remember my central argument. My central argument is that the law or the constitution might be necessary for the removal of a justice or a chief justice, but it in and of itself is not sufficient enough to move the process to its end. What is needed to then move that process through that legal forest is the political will. It's partisanship. So that's my argument. So look, this now that we have got this case, what is needed? The only thing needed to move this petition from the Jubilee House to the appropriate authorities is political will, not local. The law says that the president has no discretion. The law has said it. We are all
But the
watching.
president has no what?
No discretion. But the president must move the petition to the next appropriation. That's what the law says. That when the petition comes to you, you are just a conveyor belt. That was the legal conveyor belt. That when the petition comes, the president should just forward it on and then let it go.
It was Akufo-Addo who made that comment.
So that was the legal. Ghanaians are now watching. Ordinary Ghanaians are watching. Civil societies are watching. People interested in rule of law. Everybody's watching. We saw the speed and the alacrity with which the Tokono case was taken to its logical conclusion. We saw that. Now we are watching. Will the same speed be employed here? Will we see the same Usain Bolt speed in this case, or will we see something different? My argument is that in the case of Tokono, because of who appointed her and who was in office now,
you said it was a goner.
But right now, because of who is in the Jubilee House and because of what is happening, I